Real quick, before we get started, I would like to shout out today's sponsors, Raid Shadow Legends. No, I'm just kidding, they don't even know I exist. But on a serious note, if y'all could, hit this video up for 100 likes so we can drop part 2 and then eventually the final battle. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Some of the most recognizable manga and anime series of this generation includes the likes of Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. While highly celebrated, a couple of these have notable ties to one legendary series in particular. This, of course, is Yu Yu Hakasho. Having recently completed the Yu Yu manga, I find it crazy that many people either haven't read it or do not remember enough to respect how powerful the characters are. In order to shed some light on this, as well as to create a very epic versus matchup, I have decided to pit Team Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho against Team 7 from Naruto. Both will feature 4 members, as Urameshi arguably has 5, but I have elected to leave out Genkai in order to keep the numbers even. In this video, I will break down the members of Team Urameshi. This will include low balls, mid balls, and high balls, as the final battle will be best of 30, with 10 matchups occurring at the 3 different measurements. With that being said, let's begin. First up will be the team leader himself, Yusuke Urameshi. Originally a hooligan from the streets with no regards for others, Yusuke died while saving a kid from getting run over. Upon death, Yusuke was offered a chance at redemption if he chose to become a spirit detective. Accepting this offer, Yusuke went on to become the unlikely defender of Earth, becoming a legend in multiple realms. For the sake of time, some of the measurements for teammates will be the same, as they are somewhat relative in certain areas. Now it's time to go over these areas for Yusuke. Strength-wise, the low end for Yusuke by the end of the series is Planetary Plus. Remember, it's a low ball before you freak out. We of course know this because A-class Sensui was capable of destroying Earth if he chose to let loose. On top of this, Enma early on was stated to passively cause unprecedented destruction on Earth from his own realm with just anger alone, which would clock in at least multi-continental considering the early meteor from earlier days. This is important because Yusuke becomes S-class, which is massively beyond A. Still low-balling, Yusuke was stated to be able to destroy the Earth in his base by Genkai after the Sensui arc, which makes sense. So, Planetary Plus is a comfortable low-ball. Mid-ball, Yusuke should be around Solar System Plus. After powering up post-death to battle Sensui, it was obvious that Yusuke showing up was already planetary at worst. On top of this, it is stated that Yusuke briefly held power at roughly 1,000,000 times stronger, and this power he absorbs into his base later at training. This alone should solidify his tier. High end, we can get Yusuke to Universal Plus easily. This comes from the statement by the Spirit Defense Force that Yusuke awakened was infinitely above any threat they were told to deal with. This holds weight because this team is trained for countless years to detect power levels and neutralize threats, so if anyone would know the power level, it would be them. Awakened Yusuke then is stated to be roughly 1,000,000 times above that. Add on this to that he gets multiple times stronger, and we are looking at infinite 3D potentially. Only counters I have really seen are from weebs that presuppose space-time destruction is necessary to be anything above universal. For speed, the low ball is FTL+. Yusuke can use and fight against foes and allies who use light-based attacks, including Genkai, who uses Light Wave, which Yusuke can use as well. They then get multiple times faster to combat A and S threats, so we shall lowball to FTL+. Mid-ball. Yusuke is massively faster than Light. To keep this simple, we take the power amps and use them to amp the speed, as power increases in Yu Yu are shown to correlate to speed. This put Yusuke at millions of times FTL to maybe hundreds of millions by the end of the series. High end, we have Infinite. Multiple scans in manga show that Demon Realm is either infinite or endless. and that the S-Class are at the far ends of the hypothetical endless realm, but can immediately travel this endless distance to the barrier if they so choose. Given Yusuke can blitz S-Class, this is a solid degree of infinite speed. For intelligence, low balling and high balling isn't really needed. Despite being a flunky in class and in his studies, this is mostly due to a lack of willingness to prosper in these areas. Yusuke demonstrates throughout the series that he is a creative and dangerous strategist. For example, while fighting blind due to darkness, he plants a lighter on his foe in order to be able to detect his movements. These showings are throughout the series, making Yusuke someone you don't want to underestimate in strategy. For skill, Yusuke was actually always a gifted hand-to-hand fighter dating back to his days as a street punk. Despite his average size and stature, Yusuke regular beat up thugs and crooks and was one of the top dogs in his area, perhaps even the top dog, striking fear in the hearts of many. As he began his life as a spirit detective, Yusuke began extensive training with the likes of Genkai, learning new hand-to-hand techniques, energy techniques, and how to time and combo devastating moves. For hacks, abilities, and gear, you have Yusuke, who keeps it kinda simple. He has a decent healing factor. Powering up can even neg previous injuries and fatigue. His heart no longer technically beats, so he isn't bound by that. He can manipulate energy into powerful finger blasts, ranging in size. He can emit a light wave attack to take out foes. He has a shotgun punch to control a large crowd of opponents, and his aura can neg hacks if he is relative or stronger in power. And he has such a strong aura when fighting that it can kill weaker beings around him, which was shown to the extreme versus Sensui. He also has some precognition and resistance to fate, as his fate was unforeseeable by the gods. Now let's discuss Hiei. Moving on, we have the moody demon Hiei. Raised a bastard, Hiei sacrificed being an overpowered demon kid to go and find his sister, implanting a Jaganai that heavily nerfed him. Despite dealing with bloodlust, Hiei carves out a hero's path alongside Yusuke, becoming a powerful but reluctant ally. Strength-wise, this video will see a much quicker ending, as we can scale Hiei as relative to Yusuke in strength, speed, and durability. Although, to note, Hiei throughout the series was seen as a little bit quicker than Yusuke, but they are pretty relative. Intelligence-wise, Hiei was a surprising genius as well as a proven top-tier manipulator. He knew exactly where to stab the sniper, landing a non-fatal blow intentionally so that sniper would stop pursuing Yusuke but wouldn't die. He also managed to mind hack foes by making them think more Jagans was more power. Hiei also was able to constantly read his foes, pressing them to either open up windows of opportunity or get them to provide a satisfactory battle when he wanted a good fight. Skill-wise, Hiei is a master combatant. Hiei was A-class by age 5, proving to be one of the most dangerous combatants around at such a young age. More so, Hiei blossomed into one of the best swordsmen in any realm, usurping the top demon swordsman in 1v1 combat. Hiei knows where to strike critical points and blends his blitzing style with extreme finesse. For hacks, abilities, and gear, Hiei has a few up his sleeve. He possesses the Jaganai, which instantly possesses any beings below him in power. He can also sense the change of energy and when telepathic actions are taking place. He has precog and can see through manipulation. He can manipulate demonic fire, which Kurama stated is too dangerous to be used on Earth. He can absorb fire and demonic fire into himself to amp. He can create fire energy source that Kuwabara claimed was above his energy blade. Hiei can also manipulate massive black demonic fire dragons as a projectile. Moving on to the genius of the group, Kurama. Born a demon fox, Kurama spent plenty of years as a demon doing hood rat stuff with the demon king. When the king got a bit too radical for his taste, Kurama bailed out to live a human life with adopted parents. In order to save his new family, Kurama teams up with Yusuke and forms a bond with everyone, proving that even demons could be laid back. Intelligence-wise, Kurama is the genius of the verse. Each battle showcases Kurama outclassing his foes in chess match type moves, usually intellectually embarrassing them. He easily outthought and outplayed a boy who was an academic and tactical prodigy. He bested a boy who was able to trap you in his own personal games, and bested the boy at a game he had played countless times. He even outwitted demon captains and kings to escape many situations. Skill-wise, Kurama is a powerful fighter. He is a talented swordsman and can blitz and one-shot decorated demonic commanders. Kurama can use his environment as well to overwhelm foes, picking and choosing when best to strike. Hacks, abilities, and gear, Kurama is mostly plant and nature based. He has a rose whip, which cuts through relative foes like butter. He can plant a seed inside of you and cause you to combust or become overrun by a plant from inside. He has an impressive demonic healing factor. He has flower petal hurricane similar to a storm of shuriken. He can use a mist that even Hiei with his Dragon Eye can't see through. His torture plant can put you in endless illusions until you die, so potentially for eternity if you have a healing factor. This also negs power, kind of bypasses your power, as Hiei and Yusuke would have been caught in it, as stated by Kurama. He can also hide his powers well, sense power, use plants to absorb fires and bombs, and among other things, he can sense using his unique sensory level and can sprout force almost instantly. Kurama has shown he can use his weapons as hair, using his weave to bot people. He can strike you even if he's paralyzed or immobilized, and he can neg telepathic invasions on his mind both passively or actively. Last one, Kuwabara. Kuwabara was another delinquent that knew Yusuke growing up and was always somewhat second to Yusuke in almost every category. After Yusuke passed, Kuwabara kind of became the heavy hitter of the community, and him and Yusuke would forge a bond after Kuwabara tried to save Yusuke's old girl. Kuwabara would go on to show himself to be quite the powerful spirit warrior, and despite being human, was able to tag along with them on many adventures. Now, here the high ball for strength actually changes. This comes from the fact that Kuwabara possesses a trans-dimensional sword. What this means is his sword can bypass dimensionality and dimensional barriers. You can argue this to be 4D or up, depending on your viewpoint. Intelligence-wise, Kuwabara is kind of mid-tier. He actually goes on to become pretty well academically and finish school. He was somewhat relative to Yusuke, and he's very good at identifying power levels and determining how they should approach it. Skill-wise, he was actually second to Yusuke growing up as a street fighter. While he wasn't as good at fighting as Yusuke, he never backed down to Yusuke. And he would get better and would become actually a very good swordsman upon training. Hacks, abilities, and gear. He has a very high level of telepathic prowess, as well as being able to read power levels. He actually tested perfect when Genkai was testing all the candidates to become her potential rookie. He also has an energy sword that he manipulates his own spirit energy into a blade. He can extend this blade, turn it into like a snake-like weapon. He can shorten it, he can toughen it, and he can even energize it to become a trans-dimensional sword to cut through dimensions and dimensional barriers. On top of this, when he has to show off for friends or someone he likes, he gets a stupid amp, almost plot armor-like, in which he gets massively powerful. And he's even smart enough and skilled enough to fake his own death, fooling everyone that was around during the Takuro battle. Anyways, let me know what you think of the scaling for these characters. This is part 1 covering Team Urameshi. Part 2 will be covering Team 7, and then you will get the final epic battle. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Run up the likes on this video, subscribe, and I will see y'all later. Peace.